Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at the market site in Times Square, New York City, we have Dean Wegner. He's the founder and CEO of Authentically American, a veteran-owned business with product exclusively American-made. Dean, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Market Site.
Fantastic, Jill. I'm honored to be a guest, especially here on our actual 5th anniversary.
July 14th,
yes.
This Thursday, 5 years old. And first of all, thank you for your service, of course.
Appreciate
Give us your background in service and the genesis behind Authentically American.
So I'm a veteran, I'm an entrepreneur, so West Point was my undergrad, so I had the privilege of serving 7 years active duty in the Army, so I went to flight school, learned how to fly helicopters, went to the Army Special Forces Ranger School, and served 7 years active duty. And I will tell you, Jill, the memories I have of the incredible men and women I served with ultimately led to the intentional choice we have right now to donate 10% of our profits to veteran and first responder charities, and that's a way for us to honor our American heroes each and every day.
What was the transition like leaving the service and moving into, whether it's the corporate world or entrepreneurship? What skills did you take from a very in-depth background and applying it to what you do day to day?
So I think of it as two transitions. So there was transition from the military to big business. So I worked for Procter & Gamble, brands like Crest and Tide. Also worked for Mars, brands like M&M's and Snickers, and our pet food division. So that was a transition, but it wasn't as difficult. But I laugh because I'm an entrepreneur now, and when I left the Army in 2000, I couldn't even spell entrepreneur. I mean, it was a whole world that didn't even exist to me. But the driving motivation for me was that insatiable desire to know that I am making a difference. And P&G and Mars were phenomenal companies, but what I realized, Jill, when it's an $80 billion company, when I have a big job, and even though I'm paid well, if you pull me out, the next person steps right up and it doesn't skip a beat.
Right.
And now I know when being an entrepreneur and building a business from scratch, we're making a difference each and every day.
Is there a skill set that you acquired from the Army, whether it's stress management or being able to triage and make quick decisions? Do you apply any of that to what you do as an entrepreneur?
Each and every day, Jill, and it's discipline, it's accountability, it's work ethic, and I highlight Ranger School because for 72 days straight, I lived on 1 meal a day and 2 to 3 hours sleep, so it was no sleep and incredible stress. And that's the life I'm living now as an entrepreneur.
It is, to your point before, it's one thing to work for a global company making good money, but once you are responsible for day to day, basically eat what you kill to drive that revenue, I can certainly see how those skill sets mix there. Like many small businesses, Authentically American, you didn't have the option of remote work during the pandemic. What was it like operating, especially the early days of COVID when we were all still learning what that environment's going to look like? We're still trying to figure it out.
Jill, it's so symbolic sitting here with you today on our actual 5th anniversary, and I say first and foremost, we survived. And that was big because there were numerous points on that journey. I wasn't sure if we were going to survive. Were we going to meet payroll? Were we able to pay our suppliers? But two things were reinforced for me during the pandemic. Number one is the importance of having an amazing team. And I am blessed with some incredible leaders, some incredible commitment from our team, and that is the number one reason why we're here right now. And number two is it further reinforced my belief in the American worker because we have amazing American-made apparel, and throughout COVID, each and one of our 11 factories across the U.S. was still operating, but at reduced capacity, but they continue to step up and produce amazing product for us, and that first and foremost is what it's all about.
So you perhaps did not have to experience some of the supply chain constraints since you're making product in America.
So we had issues, we had challenges, but it's all relative. So when you're here in the U.S., you've got certain challenges, but if you're importing from China, which 40% of the apparel is imported from China, but we didn't have the severe issues that others have. And to give you and everybody some context how rare American made is, when I graduated from West Point in '93, over 50% of the apparel was made in the U.S. Today, it's less than 3%. That's all that's made here. And we have amazing product. It's all made here, and we want people to vote with their wallets. Each and every day, you don't have to go ahead and wait every 4 years to vote on what's most important. You can vote with your wallet each and every day. And that's what I love most is when our customers, whether it's an individual consumer, whether it's a Fortune 500 company like a Pepsi or Bridgestone, whether it's a amazing charity like Wounded Warrior or Team Red, White, and Blue, when they say, we absolutely love your product, and that's what's most important. And when then they learn also that it's American made, that it's veteran owned, that's when we really have an opportunity to be their favorite brand.
I read an interesting tidbit from the Forbes article that was just published,
Yes.
I believe it was yesterday, about how you're rethinking the fashion business, because there is an ESG, a sustainability component to it when you think about, you know, fast fashion versus the type of quality fashion that you are manufacturing.
It almost seems counterintuitive, Jill, but we want people to buy less. If you buy one of our polos, you buy one of our socks, t-shirts, we don't want it to be fast fashion, almost disposable. We want, you know, a year from now, even 5 years from now, that's still hanging in your closet, it still wears great, and it's a phenomenal product. And I believe at some point in the next 5 years, we're going to start measuring carbon footprint.
Right.
And I can't give you exact stats right now, but it's very simple to think, okay, if product is being produced overseas in China and Vietnam and it's transporting over here, it's a massive carbon footprint. Versus when we produce in 11 states across the US, it's much smaller. And we've got amazing apparel, it's more sustainable since it's American made, and we also believe in the American worker.
Yeah. And to wrap up here, any advice for veterans that are transitioning out of service into the corporate world or looking to take on entrepreneurship?
Well, this is advice I have for veterans, this is advice I have for my own 4 kids, is find what you love. Find what you're passionate about, because, you know, having been in the Army, having gone to Ranger School, I'm not shy of hard work, but I have never worked more hours than I have over the last 5 years, and I still keep the balance on faith and family and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
But when you find what you love, when you're pursuing what you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, there's often times I wake up before the alarm at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, not because I have to, but because I want to. And that is so critical. When you find what you love, it makes all the difference in the world.
All right, Dean, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and happy 5th anniversary.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.